What is up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Fantasy Fellow Show. My name is Kyle. In this video, we're doing a DraftKings $10 best ball. It is their $1 million contest for the summer here. We've done a lot of these throughout the season so far, but now that we're in August, man, things are starting to get a little bit more fun as we know some of the situations and some of the questions that we've been asking are starting to get answered. So we are in the lobby here. We drew the first overall pick, which is good. We're going to get Justin Jefferson here, and then we'll have some debate there at the 2-3 turn. But we're going to start with Justin Jefferson. I'm not going to make it anything too crazy here. Basically, when I get the first overall pick, I know I'm just going to pump my Justin Jefferson shares up because you're not guaranteed to get him anywhere else. So we'll take Justin Jefferson here at 1. The draft is about to start in 30 seconds, and we'll collect JJ, and then we'll move on. I'm going to pull up my projections throughout the way, and we'll kind of take a peek at that and see what's going on. And let me get these filtered here by full PPR. And yeah, man, come on in. Hope you guys are doing well tonight. Tuesday evening here, August 1st. We're finally into August, and we have football on Thursday night. We have the Hall of Fame game. The Cleveland Browns and the New York Jets will be playing. And then all of a sudden next week, we get the real first preseason game. So here we go. 4, 3, 2, and 1. We are on the clock here. Let's just run in Justin Jefferson. He is my 101. If I go to my flex tab here and filter it, he should be my top player. And he sticks out. He's a good, 20 points ahead of my next best player here. So I am totally fine with Justin Jefferson in a full PPR format. Even for redraft, I think he is probably the move. Good evening to Harris. Hope you are doing well, my man. We're just hanging out in the DraftKings lobby tonight, getting that $10 best ball entry going. And I'm going to flip to the draft board, and we can show you guys what else is going on here. It looks like, wow, Jamar Chase fell to 104, and he is typically the 102. Cooper Kupp goes to CMC 3, Jamar Chase at number 4. So interesting. I don't know if that's people just being nervous about Joe Burrow and his calf strain. I did see a positive report on Joe Burrow today that he's back in the weight room doing weights. So I don't think the calf strain is something that I'm nervous about. I'm still going to take Jamar Chase as my number 2 receiver and probably number 2 player off the board. I had a comment on one of my YouTube channels that I have to respond to it yet, but he asked, what draft spot do I like the most this year? And I think it's a top 4 pick. Because to me, the top 2 receivers are pretty easily Justin Jefferson and Jamar Chase. And then I know who the top 2 running backs are. It's Christian McCaffrey and Austin Eckler. I love both those guys in full PPR. The debate happens to me at 5 because you have Travis Kelce, you have Cooper Kupp, you have Tyreek Hill, you have Austin Eckler. And we can even throw a couple more guys in there. But I think the debate starts at pick 5. So 5, 6, 7, 8. Those ones are all kind of tougher picks for me. I do like sitting at the back end of the draft. Is your free league? Yes, sir. Every league that I play in is now free agent auction bidding. And if you've never done it before, I think you're going to like it. Basically, you get your $100 to spend throughout the season. And that first waiver wire run, after week 1, you're going to end up bidding on the guys. And basically, whoever has the highest bid is going to get the player. And I think the tiebreaker will be the inverse of the standing. So, I think last year in my super flex leagues, like Geno Smith was like a $37 bid. It really depends on the need of the team, but it does balance things out. And I really don't like the inverse standings waiver wire where the worst team gets the claim. I'm not in agreement with that. But anyways, let me recap it here. Travis Kelce, the 105, Tyreek Hill, Austin Eckler, a surprise Nick Chubb in the first round here, 108, Stephon Diggs, Amon-Ra St. Brown, and A.J. Brown. This is something I've been seeing a lot lately, especially on DraftKings. It's Amon-Ra St. Brown peeking into the top 10. And he goes over guys like CeeDee Lamb, A.J. Brown, Devontae Adams. I think Amon-Ra St. Brown's one of my favorite PPR wide receivers to get in your redraft leagues. He's probably a mid-second round pick, and I'm pretty much all in on St. Brown. He goes as the wide receiver 6 off the board. That's probably near his ceiling. He'd have to score a lot of touchdowns to be the wide receiver 1 overall, but I feel good about St. Brown getting over 100 receptions, maybe 1,200 yards, and we'll see about the touchdowns. But after Amon-Ra, you see A.J. Brown, Bijan to finish round 1, Devontae Adams, and CeeDee Lamb falling to 202. Nice little value there. Saquon Barkley, now that he's back with the team and got a new contract, 2 weeks ago when Barkley wasn't reporting to camp, he was at the back end of the second round, and now he's right back up to the 203. Jonathan Taylor was being drafted here 2 weeks ago. It's weird they flipped. But Jalen Hurts, Garrett Wilson, Derrick Henry, and Tony Pollard's probably my favorite second round value at the running back position. So I'm very into Tony Pollard. I think he offers more safety than Derrick Henry, who's up there in age. Offensive line's not great for the Titans. And I think Pollard is entering a pretty big season for volume. Pat Mahomes, Travis Kelce stacked here at the 105. And we're almost up to pick. We're probably going to like the receivers that are coming up here. It looks like a lot of the running backs are getting hit. We'll be curious to see if Jonathan Taylor goes here. But man, oh man, the guy at the 104, that's rare to get Jamar Chase at the 104. We'll see if he takes T. Higgins to start a Bengals stack. It looks like he's going to get auto-picked. He gets auto-picked Jalen Waddle, which is a good pick. I like Jalen Waddle quite a bit. Josh Allen just goes 210, and we're on deck here. So let's take a look. Look at the receivers on the board for us. So we have JJ. I like Chris Olave quite a bit. Devonta, Ridley, T. Higgins. I think the board is telling us to take 2 receivers here at this spot. Again, Jonathan Taylor, especially in a best ball format, makes me a little bit uneasy. I think he's falling to the end of the 3rd round anyway, so I don't want to jump on him here. I'm going to grab Chris Olave to be 1, and then I just want to look at my other numbers here. Let's see. Do I have this filtered correctly? I have Chris Olave here, and then I guess I'm going to grab Devonta Smith. We'll grab one of the Eagles players here and see what we can do with this. But there we go. Justin Jefferson, Chris Olave, and Devonta Smith to start our draft. 3 wide receivers, and looks like Lamar Jackson and Jahmyr Gibbs just went off the board. Jahmyr Gibbs is moving up boards. I'm routinely seeing him go in the middle of the 3rd round. This is probably the earliest I've seen him go, though, at 303. And now that I have JJ Olave and Devonta Smith, I'm going to go to thefantasyfellowship.com. Let's go take a peek at the best ball cheat sheet. So I have this tool for you guys available on thefantasyfellowship.com. Let's see. Basically, I don't like how I'm going to go. Yeah, I'm going to go here. Let's take a peek at this. So I have Justin Jefferson, I have Chris Olave, and I have Devonta Smith. So 3 pretty good offenses. With Justin Jefferson, he's going to get Green Bay, Detroit, and Cincinnati. So I wouldn't mind targeting some of those teams, especially the Green Bay Packers at the 4-5 turn. With Olave is going to get Tampa Bay week 17. I'm not super excited about that, but the Saints also get the Giants and the Rams in the fantasy playoffs, which could be nice. And then with Devonta Smith, he gets Seattle, the Giants, and the Cardinals. So I'm going to try and just stick to those teams, I think, to build some correlation and get some week 17 stuff going on. Diggs, what's going on, man? Thanks for hanging out with us. We're just moving along here in this DraftKings best ball draft. I had the 1st overall pick. I went 3 wide receivers to start with JJ, Olave, and Devonta Smith. And it looks like we're moving quickly through the 4th round. After I took Devonta Smith, Lamar Jackson, Jahmyr Gibbs, a little wide receiver run here of T. Higgins, Calvin Ridley, and DK Metcalf. Calvin Ridley's moving up boards pretty fast right now. This team goes with the 3 running back start. It gets Jonathan Taylor to fall all the way to 307. Jerry Jeudy, ETN, Keenan Allen, Ramondre, and Deebo Samuel ended the 3rd round. Beginning of the 4th, Amari Cooper, Josh Jacobs. Jacobs falling in the 4th round now is interesting. D-Hop, Mixon, Harris. There's Joe Burrow. Interesting. This team's got no wide receivers yet. 3 running backs and a quarterback. TJ Hawkinson, and then a weird one here. Travis Kelce and Pat Mahomes stack is nice, but then he gets Calvin Ridley stacked with Trevor Lawrence. I'm not super into grabbing double quarterback this early, but we'll see what we'll pay attention to Legion of Boom here and see what he does. And then Breece Hall falling to 409. He's another one of those big fallers. Tomorrow, Wednesdays, I go and I update my ADP risers and fallers. I think Breece Hall is going to be one of the top fallers. He's fallen about a good round or so now. And then Gabe Davis in the 4th round. This one's getting weird. You see some weird stuff on DraftKings every now and then. But I'm on the clock almost. I got JJ Olave and Devonta Smith. I could double tap. We'll see what this guy does here. But I mentioned the Vikings play the Packers week 17. That could be a nice game. It's indoors. DJ Moore just went here. So this guy's trying to set up the Justin Fields stack. I'll probably just give it to him. I'm going to collect Watson to be my 4, and then I'll collect Aaron Jones here. And we're going to work on building. Someone took Hawkinson, so I'm going to work on building out that Packers-Vikings stack for Week 17. And let me go here. So I'm going to click Vikings, Eagles, and the Saints. These are our top 3 receivers here. We also have the Packers now. So we'll see if we can kind of correlate some of these teams here. And right now we are heavily invested in the Packers at the Vikings Week 17. We have three pretty good players in this game. And right now the Packers, they're going to get Tampa Bay and Carolina. The Saints do play. So maybe Tampa Bay is a team we want to identify here too, to maybe add some secondary stacks. Let's see. Cincinnati shows up. Seattle, the Giants. The Giants might be a team because they do play the Eagles and they play the Saints. So I'll maybe start peppering in some of those guys as well. But we're moving in here into the 5th round. Let's take a peek and see what's happening. Cam Akers, 502. So interesting. This guy at number 2, he took DJ Moore. He already had Lamar Jackson, so he doesn't take Justin Fields. So Justin Fields is falling a bit. All right, we're off the rails, guys. Jared Goff in the 5th round. And look at Jackson Smith-Njigba and Cam Akers in the 5th round here. This one's getting wild. Great value here on Mike Williams. Mike Williams is typically a mid-4th round pick, but you get into some weird stuff here on DraftKings. Let me know if you guys have had any weird stuff happening in DraftKings. I've seen George Pickens go round 2. One time I made a mistake and I made a really bad 2nd round pick because my auto queue got my phone glitched and I had the wrong guy in the queue at the time. Ended up getting Tutu Atwell round 2. I'm not sure how that happened, but anyways, Mike Williams, Justin Herbert, George Kittle, go. And again, so if you guys are new to Best Ball, I did put up a Best Ball cheat sheet here where you guys can get access to it for free. It's basically, I did a little study here and I kind of ranked the games based on how good the offenses were. And basically, the more higher scoring the game is, the better we want that for our stack. Or I guess the more we want that for stacking. So check out the free article, and then basically I have it here, and I'm just kind of highlighting now. So we're heavily invested in Minnesota and Green Bay. I wouldn't mind tagging on some Bengals and some Lions to get my Viking Justin Jefferson through. And then with the Packers, maybe we just lean into the Vikings here. Yeah, this one's weird, man. Best Ball, especially on DraftKings, it's pretty unpredictable because DraftKings is a wide range of skill as far as fantasy players. And a lot of people sometimes don't know what they're doing, especially if you do a DraftKings at night. Like if I'm sitting in there in bed and I'm doing a DraftKings, see some weird stuff after hours, but what are you going to do? I feel like where's in your league just not intending one QB. I feel like working in your league just not intending. No, so Harris, I don't think that, I think every league should be free agent auction bidding. I don't agree that the worst team should get the first waiver claim, because then you're rewarding them from being shitty at fantasy football. And that doesn't sit well with me. Every team should have access to the waiver wire pool, and the free agent auction bidding rewards the better fantasy managers and gives them access to every player. Whereas it sucks not being able to get the top waiver guy every week because your team's too good. You should be able to build up your team. But wow, we're moving. All right, it's getting really weird here. Team number 6, Big Mama Mott's, just took Sam Laporta in the 6th round. Nothing else is too crazy yet, but that team looks like it's already packing it in. But we're on the deck here. Again, we mentioned we're heavy Packers and Vikings. I don't see anybody here that makes sense for us. I do see Dallas Goedert, though, that could slip into our plans with the Eagles. I also see Darren Waller, who slipped into our plan for the New York Giants. I have Darren Waller ranked higher, so I'm going to collect Darren Waller. And grabbing Waller, that gives us, again, we have access to the Giants via the Saints. And I believe it was it the Packers? It might have been the Packers. I can't remember. But we're back on the clock here. We have Aaron Jones at running back 1. Lockett's available. Mike Evans, that's a Buccaneer. I'm just gonna grab Mike Evans. And now we have 5 pretty good wide receivers. We have JJ, Olave, Devonta, Watson, and Mike Evans. So let me go back over here. So we got our Buccaneers. So we got Mike Evans in there. And then I did grab, because the Saints play the Giants and so do the Eagles. So that's where Darren Waller comes into play. If we wanted to get Daniel Jones now, he's on our radar. Yeah, I mean, I personally, I don't think it's fair, Harris, because you're rewarding the worst team and giving him every opportunity to get the best player every week until he moves out of last place. That's somewhat. I just sure it makes a little bit of sense, but for if your team's really good, say you're like the third best team and you have an injury that week. Say your running back two goes down and you can't go get the backup because you're seventh in waiver wire claims. That doesn't seem fair to me. So free agent auction bidding is the way to go. Everybody gets their $100 to spend as they choose. You can basically, it just makes it so everybody has equal access to these players instead of limiting it to the worst team all the way to the best team. And I did like Lockett there, but the thing with best ball, Harris, is for best ball, you have to, because it's 14 weeks for the regular season. And then to advance into the playoffs for best ball, you have to be in the top two of your 12-man league. So I'm hoping to finish in the top two here in advance. And then week 15 is its own tournament where they put you like in another 12-man lobby and you have to be first in that. And then you move on. So you have to really focus on weeks 15, 16, and 17. So at this point, I am just basically I'm looking at the teams that I have highlighted here, and I want to make sure my team's heavily correlated. So I'm pretty invested into the Vikings and the Packers right now. Those are the two teams that are probably what I'm going to do most of my drafting off of. And the New Orleans Saints, I did draft Darren Waller and Mike Evans in that game. So we're basically just trying to lace our. I guess the Eagles did play Seattle week 15, so I could have taken that. But the fact that the Giants showed up twice in this grid and the Buccaneers showed up twice, so that's basically all I'm trying to do. I'm just trying to correlate my schedules so that I get these players in the same games, and hopefully they're big games, and I have more chips in those games. That's all we're trying to do. And I don't take a lot of Mike Evans, so I needed some Mike Evans shares. But after I took Mike, you see Pickens, Lockett, Quentin Johnston, Evan Ingram, and Jameson Williams. So this guy is just building a fat Lions stack right now. We'll see how it goes. I don't know if he knows TJ Hawkinson's not on the Lions anymore, but Kyle Pitts, Javonte Williams, there goes Dallas Goedert, James Conner, Rashad White, and Alvin Kamara. Beginning of round 8, you see Brandon Cooks, Jahan Dotson, Deshaun Watson, and Dalvin Cook. Hopefully we get some I would like some running backs to get to us at this next pick. I would have liked Jordan Addison to fall, but he went 608. For other Vikings, I mean, I suppose I could get Kirk Cousins to lead this team. You know, we could maybe look at KJ Osborne as a secondary receiver for us. We can also, I think there's some Packers on the board. I don't know if Romeo Dobbs is going to fall to us, but we got some Packers and some Viking outs. But either way, Mike Thomas just went. And again, I mentioned these are the teams that I'm hoping to draft off of. The Vikings, the Packers, and I guess the Saints right now are a team that I am investing in, as well as, where are the Giants? The New York Giants. And I like the Giants because they have my Saints. And then I do have a small correlation with the Eagles, Darren Waller, Devonta Smith right now. Maybe we should grab a Ram too at some point. Maybe the Rams look good. But the Rams are pretty much, I mean, after Cam Akers, there's a huge drop off. So David Montgomery, Isaiah Pacheco, Tua, Zay Flowers, and we're on deck right now. So let's go ahead and take a peek and see what we can find. J.K. Dobbins has fallen pretty hard. So is Treylon Burks, Elijah Moore. A lot of receivers here. I might just grab Kirk Cousins to be my QB1. Obviously, I need some running backs, so I'm just gonna tap J.K. Dobbins because I think he's gonna play week 1. So we'll collect J.K. Dobbins even though he doesn't correlate as well, and then I'm gonna land on Kirk Cousins because we have Justin Jefferson and the 2 Packers. So our starting roster is basically filled up now. Kirk, Aaron Jones, J.K. Dobbins. We have J.J., Olave, Devonta as our top 3 wideouts. Darren Waller, Christian Watson, and Mike Evans competing for flex. So let me go back to my grid here. Grabbing J.K. Dobbins opens things up a little bit for us. I'm just going to click on the Ravens and make them green. We have no correlations with the Ravens quite yet, but maybe we can tie some in later. And then who else did I grab here? I grabbed Kirk Cousins. So we're heavily invested into that Vikings game. Maybe we can sprinkle in some Bengals and some Lions. Let's get back to the draft grid. Daniel Jones went off the board. That would have been nice to stack with Darren Waller, but that's just fine. Brian Robinson, Cortland Sutton, Daniel Jones, Elijah Moore, Dak Prescott. I'm surprised Antonio Gibson's still on the board. In a full PPR league, I think Gibson and Brian Robinson's values are pretty similar. Obviously, Gibson's going to be the guy catching passes, but I think Brian Robinson's a really good pick. In the 9th round, you're potentially talking about a guy that can get you 1,000 yards. And basically his ceiling will be determined by the touchdowns and his receiving work. But I feel really good about his baseline work. I mean, if he's running for 1,000 yards this season, we have 1,000 divided by 17. That's about 60 yards per game. So you're giving him about a 6-point floor every week. If he scores a touchdown, that gets you to 12. If he catches a pass or two, it gets you, upwards of 15. So I like B-Rob. Let's see. After Burks and Sky Moore, you see Kadarius Toney, David Njoku, A.J. Dillon. And the final pick of the 9th round, A.J. Dillon fell pretty far here. He's usually at the 8-9 turn. So with DraftKings, they last about 40 to 45 minutes. They go 20 rounds. So we are going to go pretty deep here. I believe Underdog is 18 and Drafters is 20 rounds. So, yeah, when you do a best ball, there are slow drafts available where there's like 4-hour timers or 8-hour timers per pick, but those can last upwards of 3 weeks. But I just like doing the fast drafts, and a fast draft will take about 40, 45 minutes for these 20 rounders. So, but Aaron Rodgers and Geno Smith just went at the 9-10 turn. Pat Freiermuth kicking it off here. And at this point, the tight ends are pretty gross. After Pat Freiermuth, that's kind of the signal that tight ends are done. Kincaid, Schultz, Dulcich, like these guys are all kind of tight ends too for me. The receivers are also looking kind of gross right now. That tier is kind of done. So I'm glad I have that worked out. But the running backs, I mean, Harris, look at all these running backs. You got Gibson, P. Ryan, even McKinnon's fine. Herbert, Penny, A-Chain, Charbonnet, Jamal, Damien Harris. I'm hoping to grab 1 or 2 of these guys on the turn when it comes back. And I'll take a peek at QB. I don't know if I need to, because I think the way this is going, I might have to line up Jordan Love to be my Packers stack mate. And then maybe, yeah, that's probably our most ideal QB2 is Jordan Love in that Packers-Vikings game. But there goes Lazard, Nico, Dalton Kincaid. And a lot of these teams already have their second quarterback. So these guys are pushing down some really good players for me. And I'm hoping, oh my goodness, this is going to be crazy if we get some of these running backs to fall to us. There goes Gibson. This is probably the longest I've seen Gibson go in about a month. 10.09 is a great value on Antonio Gibson, and he only has Breece Hall. So Gibson's going to be, that's a really, really good value pick for him at the 4 spot. But we're almost up to pick, so I'm going to toggle over to the players available. I mean, we need running back, so P. Ryan, Herbert makes sense. I don't see anybody in our stack that makes sense. Maybe Jamal Williams makes sense for, the Olave Saints. I guess we do have an out with Derek Carr too, so that might push up Jamal Williams for me. We also have Devonta Smith, so I think Rashad Penny makes sense here. Stacks are much more important in best ball, and I can get to that in a second. I'm going to take a flyer here on Rashad Penny because he's an Eagle for us, and then I'm going to grab Jamal Williams. And again, both those guys, I have the Saints that I'm trying to target here, and now I'm going to highlight this green because we got some Eagles in here. But with stacking, essentially, and I don't know if you play like daily fantasy, Harris, but when you're setting your lineup for week 1 in the DK Millie Maker or whatever, you are essentially trying to stack those lineups, and that's kind of how you want to play best ball. You want to develop these stacks where you get the quarterback and at least 2 or 3 of his receiving weapons, or sometimes a running back, especially passing running backs. I think they stack well with their QBs. Best ball is all about stacking, and you kind of want to have 2 or 3 QBs stacked in best ball because, like, essentially, in order to win this tournament, I need Kirk Cousins and Justin Jefferson to go off and in the same game together, because that way it gives me the highest score in week 17. And hey, if the Vikings are going off and Kirk Cousins and Justin Jefferson are going off, that might make the Packers have to throw. So I want to tail that and have Watson, Jones, and if I can get any more Packers, I'll do it. I did pass on Romeo Doubs, but we needed running backs here, and I did get Penny and Jamal Williams, who fit into our stack. So I'm kind of riding these teams in green right now, which I'm totally fine with. And if I can continue drafting from these teams, that's going to make me feel pretty good. And right now, I don't think none of the buys are too terrible. Got a couple week 13 buys, but otherwise we're in good shape. So Kirk Cousins, we got 4 running backs, 5 receivers, and a tight end. We'll see what else we can grab here. And I did note that maybe it makes sense for us to grab some Rams, because the Rams pop up twice against the Giants and one against the Saints. And we're starting to lean into the Saints right now. But I'm going to start tabbing. I'm going to get Derek Carr tabbed. I'll even tab, Matt Ryan or Matt Stafford. We'll get Jordan Love tabbed as well. Anybody else makes sense here for us? I'm going to snag Kendre Miller on the list. We'll tab Kenneth Gainwell on the list. Maybe even Gus Edwards for the J.K. Dobbins situation. And then at receivers, Osborne's still a guy for the Vikings. That makes sense. Isaiah Hodgins makes sense. There's going to be a lot of Giants receivers. I still like Van Jefferson a decent amount. Rashid Shaheed's a guy I like a good amount. Jaden Reed is a guy that I think can be a pretty productive rookie. We'll tap Paris Campbell, Jalen Hyatt. I'll even tap Darius Slayton there. So we got a lot of receiver outs at the tight end position. I don't know if there's going to be anybody that makes sense. We can grab some Saints, Taysom Hill or Juwan Johnson. Taysom Hill is the guy you want in best ball for tight end, because you never know when to start him, but you know he's going to pop off on random weeks. And then, I'm even going to go down here and tag Luke Musgrave all the way down here, and maybe even a little Trey McBride. Yeah, Taysom Hill he is like the perfect best ball tight end, because he's gonna have 3 or 4, maybe even 5 games where he is a top 5 tight end. And if it just so happens to be week 17 when I need him to win the money, all the better. And we're almost up to pick here. We got 2 guys to do it. I just want to look and see who else has been being clicked on here. Marvin Jones. So this guy, Big Mama Mott's here. He likes to reach for that Lion stack, which is interesting. So we missed out on KJ Osborne, so we kind of got a little bit of a weak Viking stack, but we're on deck here. I don't hate taking Derek Carr. We do have Chris Olave. I still would like Jordan Love. And to be honest, I think I'm going to go with Derek Carr here and just strengthen my Chris Olave stack, which I feel pretty good about. And then, yeah, I'm just going to land on 2 QBs. I'm going to go Jordan Love. And basically we're done at QB now. I feel pretty good about that position. Kirk Cousins, round 9, Derek Carr, round 12, and Jordan Love, round 13. And they all correlate really heavily with our guys. So I think we're having a good draft so far. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. We're looking into round 13 now. You see Donovan Peoples-Jones, Jalen Warren. I think I've got all the guys queued that I wanted to. So at this point now, we're just going to be on coast, and we'll see what we can do. Just look at that huge wide receiver block from Marvin Jones all the way to Tyler Boyd. So a lot of receivers going round 3. At this point, I think the running backs are starting to thin out. Yeah, best ball is more of a strategic game where you have to look at the schedules. You have to look and see. You have to know the depth charts. You got to basically you're drafting collections of teams. That's the way I view it. And basically doing as many best balls as I do, I kind of start to feel and see where the pockets of value are that I like. And I really like waiting on QB. Kirk, Derek Carr, Jordan Love, one of those guys should be a decent play for us every week. And the way I'm viewing this too is like my running back room is Aaron Jones, J.K. Dobbins, Rashad Penny, Jamal Williams. I'm just hoping to get 25 points from that each week. Don't matter who it is. But it seems like the thing to do in best ball is to go wide receiver heavy, because you get to start 3 of them and then you get a flex. So I'm probably going to be starting JJ, Olave, Devonta Smith, and Christian Watson most weeks, but my flex competition is pretty good. I got Mike Evans and a couple of these running backs competing for flex duties. So that feels pretty good to me. But we just finished the 13th round. DPJ, Jalen Warren, Okonkwo, MVS, Mingo, Marvin Mims. I would have liked to get Isaiah Hodgins, some more Giants players here, but there's still some more receivers left for us. You got Zeke, Cole Kmet, Darnell Mooney, and Raheem Mostert finished the 13th round. Let's see. We have 7 picks left in this draft. We know we're done at QB. I only have Darren Waller at tight end, so I would like at least 2 more tight ends, and then the rest of so we have two of our 7 picks will be tight end, and then we're going to finish off with wide receiver and running back with the remaining 5 picks. Rashid Shaheed would have been a nice pick for us in our Saints build, but it looks like they're going to send us the Saints tight ends. So come on down, Saints tight ends, please. That would be really sweet. And again, I'm already feeling pretty good about my wide receivers. I only have 5 of them, but I'm feeling pretty good about them. Juwan Johnson's a guy that falls a lot, so I might try. I guess if I can get the rookie Kendre Miller on the team and grab 2 Saints here. Otherwise, I don't really want to reach on Jaden Reed, but Jaden Reed could really strengthen my receiver stack for Jordan Love. But it looks like if this goes, yeah, we get Taysom Hill to be our tight end 2, which feels nice. And then again, we're really light on running back, so I'm going to grab Kendre Miller here, and then if one of Juwan or Jaden Reed falls, that's great. Otherwise, we have outs with Gus, Paris Campbell, Jalen Hyatt, even for the Giants. Totally wouldn't mind Darius Slayton. Like these 3 guys here too. And the reason why, I love Trey McBride this year, but the fact that he plays the Eagles week 17, that fits my build pretty well. So that one to me seems to make a lot of sense if we can get him as one of our final picks. But now we're kind of moving slow. I have 5 running backs. I have 5 receivers, 2 tight ends, and 3 QBs. So again, we have 5 picks left. Like at least 1 more tight end. We have a few of them on the board that fit our build, Musgrave and McBride. And then those Giants receivers might look pretty nice because they do play a couple of our teams. You see Jerome Ford, my bad, Jeff Wilson, Justin Ross, round 1505. That seems really early for him. Missed out on Jaden Reed. That's okay. I do like him as a sleeper pick in best ball. John Mechie's another guy that I probably need to draft more of. And then look at the deal on Kyler Murray and Bryce Young. Typically, I like my last 5 or 6 picks. I like loading up on tight end and quarterback because it's kind of like free points. And if you stack up on your receivers and running backs, it really allows you to build out your bench with backup QBs and backup tight ends. And I mean, to be honest, like if we go look at the players available, there's a lot of good tight ends left. I mean, these guys are all starters. Juwan, Michael Mayer, Conklin, Hurst, Ferguson, McBride, Musgrave, Henry, Fant. Like you could probably build a best ball team with 3 of these tight ends or 4 of them and feel pretty good about it. But let me go back to the draft board here. So a little bit of a quarterback run here at the 15 and 16 turn. Murray and Bryce Young started it off, but you got Kenny Pickett, CJ Stroud, and Sam Howell off the board there to begin the 16th round. In the middle of that is some rookie running backs, Tajay Spears and Rashawn Johnson, who I like quite a bit. And then I like the Alec Pierce pull. It looks like he's stacking with Anthony Richardson. Alec Pierce is probably not a guy that you're going to ever want in redraft leagues, but he's perfect for best ball because he's probably going to have some big spike weeks. You know, if he catches 5 or 6 touchdowns this year, that's going to be 5 or 6 games where he starts for your best ball team. And if he has a big touchdown play in that game, that probably means good things for Anthony Richardson. So those two are a really good pairing together. I don't get a lot of Richardson builds, but when I do, I'm trying to get Pittman before Richardson. Basically, if Pittman falls to me, then I kind of go with the Richardson build, and then I try and collect Alec Pierce after. But we're moving into the 16th, 17th turn. Paris Campbell, we missed out on Giants receiver. Richie James, Ty Chandler, Brock Purdy. I would like to take a peek and see what we're looking at for players coming up. Ryan Tannehill off the board. And we missed on Jalen Hyatt. That would have been a nice snag there. But look at that. We get Juwan Johnson to fall all the way to us. We're picking at 192. I'll take him here to be my tight end 3, pair him with Taysom Hill in my Giants or my huge Saints stack. And nobody else really correlates here. I'm going to grab Gus Edwards because I do have J.K. Dobbins, so that kind of builds in a floor for me. And then I think I'm done at running back. I have Aaron Jones to be my 1. I kind of view J.K. Dobbins and Gus Edwards as my 2. And then we have Rashad Penny and Jamal Williams and Kendre Miller there. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 running backs that I feel pretty good about. 2 of them on the Saints, 2 of them on the Ravens. And then at this point, yeah, we have 3 picks left. Tight ends are probably done. If we get Musgrave to fall to us, I'll probably collect them just for the Packers stack. And then, yeah, 2 more like we haven't taken wide receiver in a while, so I do need to get back to that position. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, only 5 wide receivers on this team here, but I really like the balance of what we have brewing and the stacks, of course. But after I take Gus Edwards, you see Baker Mayfield, Devontae Parker, Darius Slayton. I probably should have taken Darius Slayton there and figured out a running back later. But when I get J.K. Dobbins, I don't mind taking Gus Edwards there. Obviously, we're going to be a little bit light on the Giants. We only have Darren Waller for that correlation stack, but it's going to be just fine. Seeing some second-year running backs here, or just some rookie running backs in Chase Brown, Dwayne McBride. Second-year back, Zamir White. Marcus Mariota being drafted here. Not sure why. He's Jalen Hurts' backup, so that's interesting. I absolutely love Jake Ferguson. He's one of my favorite picks at this point. Round 17, and you're getting the Dallas Cowboys potential starting tight end 1. Same thing with Tyler Conklin. I think he's a part of the Aaron Rodgers Jets offense. He's going to be on the field a lot. Conklin was actually a sneaky tight end last year. He just didn't get a lot of touchdown opportunities. Really, the whole Jets offense didn't really get a lot of passing touchdown opportunities. But I think with Rodgers, Conklin's got some upside to be, maybe like a 6 or 7 touchdown guy this year, as defenses focus on all the other receivers and the running backs. I haven't clicked on a lot of Hunter Renfrow. I would like to see Renfrow traded. I think that would be the best thing for his fantasy value. He's kind of locked, behind Devontae, Jacoby, and he's going to be competing for targets with the rookie tight end and some of the other receivers there. There goes Chuba Hubbard. So we're entering the final 3 rounds here. I think what I'm going to do is I'm probably going to sign out of here, guys. I have everything pretty much lined up for myself. I have a tight end or 2 here that I want. I'm probably just going to pepper in some other backup wide receivers here. I kind of want to get this Cardinals wide receiver. I don't know where he is. Where's Michael Wilson? If you've tuned into Arizona Cardinals camp, Michael Wilson's been making a lot of noise for himself. So I like grabbing him to be one of my backup wide receivers. And then I still need I need 2 receivers and probably another tight end. So I'm probably just going to I don't really want to grab Wan'Dale Robinson. Don't want to grab Cole Beasley. It's pretty ugly back here. I'm not going to lie to you guys. It's it's pretty bad. Yeah, nobody's really sticking out at this point of the draft. I mean, if I can get Mecole Hardman, cool. If I can get Josh Palmer, cool. Some of those guys. But that's going to do it for me, guys. I'm going to get out of here. Thank you for hanging out with me during this Best Ball $10 DraftKings draft. If you guys are new to DraftKings Best Ball, go try some out. I mean, you can get in some pretty cheap leagues and basically have fun doing it, do some different builds and see what you guys can do. I'll make these final 2 picks here, and then we'll sign off for the evening. I missed on McBride. It looks like they're going to maybe give me Musgrave here to complete that stack. Deion Jackson just went, so people are a little bit nervous about Jonathan Taylor and the Colts. And sweet. So I think I'm going to get Michael Wilson as my last pick. So that feels good. I'm just going to grab the Musgrave for the Packers tight end situation to stack there. And then I'm going to grab Mecole Hardman here as well. So I'll finish up the draft. I'm going to grab one of these receivers here to end the day. And yeah, guys, thanks for hanging out. Enjoy the rest of your evening. We'll see you in a future video. Peace.